Rounding out the winter season with potentially a last blast of rain and snow before spring starts midweek. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, and this is going to be a wide-reaching weather event heading our way. Snow over the past 5 days, we've been totaling upwards of 4 feet of snow in the Sierra. It's been great timing, too, because over the weekend, we had some dry weather for folks to enjoy some skiing and snowboarding. Some dry weather to head up into the high country as well. So travel was much better. As far as the rain over the last 5 days, we've had some great far-reaching north to South California weather systems moving through. Now, the biggest bulk of the rain definitely hitting the northwest coast. Eureka, over the past 5 days, over 4 inches of rain. We've had nearly 2 inches of rain for Redding. A little bit lighter amounts for the downtown Sacramento area. For the capital region, closer to about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain. Placerville in the Sierra foothills, over 2 inches of precipitation. San Francisco, over an inch. And then for Fresno, almost 2 inches of rain. Bakersfield, slightly less than that, about 3/4 of an inch. But Santa Barbara along the central southern coast, 2.5 inches of rain. Los Angeles, about 3/4 of an inch of rain. And then San Diego, about 1.5 inches, again, over the last 5 days. So it's been nice to see not just Northern California, but the entire state getting in on some of the active weather. Right now, we're tracking another weather system pulling on the coast. This one, too, north to south. We will see the impacts, including wind gusting at times over 45 miles per hour throughout parts of the state, and a winter storm warning in effect for the central and northern part of the Sierra. As you can see shaded in pink here, we're going to see gusty winds and a lot of changing Sierra travel conditions. And so we've got our weather impact alert in place for the Sierra through Monday, expecting 1 to 2+ feet of additional accumulation coming in. This has been a lovely March for us in the high country, but we have to prepare for those delays. More chain controls and potential road closures possible, especially with some of the gusty winds coming into the Sierra. Could see near whiteout conditions. So we'll keep these extended forecasts going on ABC 10. Plus, you want to make sure you download that wherever you stream for free on TV. We're live, local, always on. We've got our live radar going, as well as these extended forecasts and explainers. Plus, our weather specials are always there. Our Sunday through Monday storm. Here's a look at the rundown. Sierra snow, 1 to 2+ feet of accumulation. Snow level about 3,000 to 4,000 feet, with our Sierra gusts over 70 miles per hour. So again, that's why we've got this and the weather impact alert. Valley rain about 1/2 inch to an inch, with 45+ mile per hour gusts expected. But those come earlier in this weather event. Our winter storm warning for Monday evening extends until 11 o'clock. So all the way through our Sunday into our Monday, nearly through the entire day, we've got winter storm warning conditions. As we head into the valley, our wind advisory expires a little bit earlier by Sunday at 11 p.m. all the way to the coast and through parts of the mother lode. That's the Sierra foothills. You can see it running right there, just into the lower elevations of the Sierra. Our peak wind gusts into our Sunday were upwards of 25 to almost 45 miles per hour for the valley, as well as the Sierra. But again, we got another little pulse coming through as the cold front presses our way. So we'll see that kind of transition into the east side of the valley and then through the Sierra by overnight tonight through early tomorrow. For the morning commute on Monday, actually seen the lighter winds, but that's on the back edge of that cold front moving through, which means we've got the instability in place and the risk of thunderstorms. So we could see some isolated areas of some heavier downpours, hail, and gusty winds, along with the lightning and thunder. The main band of rain moves through overnight Sunday into early Monday, and the snow will start to really intensify as well as become much more widespread into our Monday. It really expands in through parts of the central Sierra towards Yosemite. Again, the back edge of this is already through by the morning commute, but that's when we see some of the greatest instability starting to build throughout the afternoon, leading to that chance of thunderstorms. So just expect that through on and off through the day. Whereas snowfall, it's still going hit and miss all the way until 11 o'clock on Monday before really tapering off into our Tuesday morning. Here's a look at the risk of those thunderstorms, and you can see it's widespread north to south through the valley, expanding all the way south into the San Joaquin Valley towards Fresno, towards Monterey, towards the coast, all the way up towards Fort Bragg, along the northwest coast, and then throughout the foothills, and yes, in the Sierra, we could be seeing some thunder snow into our Monday. Our snow level forecast, we really see those snow levels drop off as well. In the wake of that cold front, that colder air comes in. Highs will be relatively cool for our Monday to start the work and school week. The last Monday of winter is absolutely going to feel like it, with about 1 to 2 feet of snow piling up in this year. And that mostly comes in early on Monday with a snow rate of about 2 to 3 inches an hour. We will see it back off ever so slightly into our Monday afternoon, but you can see a little closer perspective along I-80. We're looking at snow accumulating down to about Alta. It's very likely that those trucks will be screened at Applegate, and it's going to be slow going up the hill into our Monday and even early Tuesday morning. Along Highway 50, we'll see accumulations down to about Pollock Pines, and then things will start to wind down in the form of rain by Shingle Springs and Placerville. But again, we're looking at about 10 to 25 or 35 inches of snow coming in by the time we get to our Tuesday morning. Rainfall is going to be less impressive, but it'll come in pretty hard before the morning commute on Monday. About 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of rain possible for the lower elevations. Once we get on the east side of the valley, we'll kick up to about 1 inch of rain, and then about 1 inch to 1.5 inches for the foothills. Again, most of that coming in during our overnight Sunday into early Monday, with just a slight additional accumulations coming in during the day on Monday. But again, that's really dependent on where those thunderstorms are going to pop up, because any isolated thunderstorm could drop a good deal of rain in a short period of time. Weather timeline for St. Patrick's Day, we are going to be rainy and snowy to kick things off for the day. Wind will be most problematic for this year, with our snow level coming down to about 3,000 to 4,000 feet. On Tuesday, we're dry and sunny. We'll see increasing clouds on Wednesday and a slight chance of some late winter, early spring showers. We are 1 day away from St. Patrick's Day, just getting all the spring feels out there. 3 days away from spring beginning, 34 from Easter, and 55 for Mother's Day. So we are on the cusp of welcoming in spring, the vernal equinox. This is when on spring, roughly around March 20th, it changes every year, the center of the sun is directly above the equator, so all areas receive about 12 hours of daylight. You can see the Arctic Circle, 12 hours, as well as the Tropic of Cancer, equator, Tropic of Capricorn, and the Antarctic Circle, all with 12 hours of daylight. And then we start edging to those longer periods of daylight for the Northern Hemisphere as we edge closer to the summer solstice. Across the Pacific, it is very much feeling like winter, though, as we see multiple systems gearing up to hit us over the week. The biggest one actually hits Sunday into early Monday. And again, this is going to have far-reaching effects extending all the way into Southern California. Not a ton of rain expected there, but at least we're seeing a nice little band of rain moving through Southern California. All along the Sierra Spine, we see snow piling up into our Monday before letting up into our Tuesday. The ridge of high pressure starting to alter the pattern slightly. Our storm track is starting to bump up to the north ever so slightly. And the deal is it's going to get stronger in Southern California, keeping that storm track right in line for Northern California Wednesday night through Thursday. We see less and less with the chance of showers through Southern California as we dig deeper into the forecast. And this is really the point where we expect to see more of this. The storm track starting to bubble its way more to the north and through the Pacific Northwest as the average precipitation starts to back off, certainly into April and May. Precipitation since October 1st, the beginning of the water year, obviously October 1st last year. We've seen really decent amounts through Northern California, but we have created quite a deficit from about the capital region in Sacramento southward through Southern California. Santa Barbara with over 8 inches below average at this point. The Sierra, however, which accounts for 1/3 of our water supply, is really looking good, and we're getting more snow on top of what we've even seen as of late last week. That was the last time we got that snow water equivalent coming in from state measurements. So the Northern Sierra is 102% average to date. The Central Sierra 84 as well for the Central Sierra. That's putting our statewide average at nearly 90% to date. Our percent of April 1st average at 85. Keep in mind, April 1st is right about the time that we start to see less in the way of snowfall and more in the way of snowmelt, which will fill our reservoirs. We have seen huge gains, though. Last week, this is what things looked like to start the week, where you can see the shading of the contours was starting to really get a little bit more confined. And then we got a couple of big storms in here, and the contours shifted dramatically, especially through the central and southern Sierra, which really didn't get some of those early season storms to hit and get the snowpack going. So it was nice to see that mid-month gain, I should say, for the central and southern Sierra. Our major water supplies, our reservoirs are looking great. We're anywhere from 85 to 100+% of average, and we're about 80 to 90% full for many of those reservoirs. So again, the water situation is looking really good. We can start to transition more of that to put it into groundwater. We'll be able to serve more of the population with surface water instead of having to rely on that groundwater, which is not necessarily the best solution for our water supply. As far as our precipitation for downtown Sacramento, last week was a great week for us, but we're still below where we should be this time of year. In fact, we are still in a bit of a deficit for the month by about a half an inch or so. We will pick up some of that coming in from tonight through tomorrow, but really not enough likely to put us at where we should be this time of year for the season. I'm guessing by the end of the week, we're going to be closer to about a 2 to 2.5 inch deficit for the month and, or I should say for the water year. Most of that because of our dry January. January tends to be our wettest month, and we only got about a half an inch of rain. So that put us in a big hole that we have been struggling to climb out of. It's very likely we'll end with a below average water year, but truth be told, you saw the reservoir numbers. You saw the Sierra snowpack. The numbers for precipitation are a guidance for us, but it's not the end all to say where we will end up for our water supply. And truly, that is one of the telltale signs of how we'll be able to fare through the dry season, which is really starting to edge closer our way. And it's going to feel like it, too. We are going to be in a likely warmer setup throughout the state by the end of the month. We're talking some places in Southern California getting close to the 90s. Locally, we'll be in the 80s. That likely wetter scenario starts to edge its way northward, whereas a likely drier setup takes shape in Southern California. We're still cool this week. We're not quite there yet. We see this cooler than average pattern to start the week. And then as we start to edge closer to the end of the work and school week, we're starting to see that bit of a warming trend. Here's that next band of moisture coming through, though, as we start off spring, some spring showers throughout Northern California. And then this starts to showcase how some of that moisture starts to really edge its way northward here. Here's what it looks like on our future cast. We see that great widespread event come our way Sunday night into Monday. And then as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, you can see how that's really starting to favor more of a northern event through the Pacific Northwest. By the time we get into the following weather event, we're really seeing that ridge take shape. The cloud cover starts to stream its way north, as does the precipitation, and we start to see that drier than average scenario setting up. Highs for tomorrow, though, kicking off that last Monday of winter. It's going to feel like it. 30s for the Sierra, 30s and 40s through the foothills, with 50s for the lower foothills. Across the coast, we've been sitting nicely in the 60s, but it's hello to 50s at least one more time here for the season. For the Central Valley, also a cool start to the work and school week, only upper 50s to near 60, with showers largely very early in the morning and then a chance of thunderstorms for the afternoon. As far as our 5-day regional forecast for the mountains, the hills, and the coast, you can see how we have the main event coming in on Monday, a dry Tuesday and most of Wednesday before some overnight showers head our way. And then we're right back to the dry conditions. You'll really see how this is playing out in our 10-day valley forecast with the active weather on Monday and cool. Then we'll slowly start to edge closer to those average highs in the upper 60s to near 70 by the weekend, our first weekend of spring, after some spring showers come through Wednesday into early Thursday. And there we have it, our first 80 degree on the 10-day forecast by the time we get into the next week.